Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Monday. Amazing weekend to you. Hope you had a good one. Let's take a look, of course, at SUI, see what's going on. And while it didn't break down or up in either of these directions, which is actually a good sign, it's building a nice little range here, a good substantial amount of volume in this area. And this is even better than breaking down or breaking up, in my personal opinion. I like to see when this happens. Again, SUI is very, very good about ranging and pretty much taking off from there. So we have a nice little bullish rectangle pattern here starting to form. We're going to pay attention to that and talk a little bit about potential for further upside or downside, depending on how things go. We're seeing a bit pullback here just because Bitcoin, I don't know why, but it just started raking down the last couple of minutes here. So we're going to see here soon what SUI wants to do in light of that. We could see a pullback as well. We can kind of see it starting to happen. But if Bitcoin stabilizes at that $90,000 to $91,000 range that we're seeing a lot of support with, then there's a good chance we're going to see the leg up here from SUI. So let's double check a few things first and kind of go from there. We'll start with some backend data and work our way down. So if you're new to the channel, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Obviously, you've been watching for a while. Thank you even more. My SUI community, minus like one troll over the last couple months, has been pretty awesome. And again, that troll is just somebody that's frustrated with the fact that I'm always going to tell you how it is, not what you want to hear, okay? And again, the charts just tell you different stories every time you look at it. So it's just kind of a fun adventure, if you will, to identify what may happen next. And we want to look at liquidation first to do that too, to kind of understand what was going on there. Okay, so I forgot to ask, please hit the like button, folks. Comment below if you get a chance. Love to hear it. Deeply appreciate any and all consideration to help grow the channel. I like to get this in front of more people, of course, not for my own good, but for others too, because honestly, people come over to my community after getting destroyed by too many moon boys, and I can tell you, moon boys have been right about this one. But it's one of the few coins that you can pretty much just say it's going up and be right about, okay? So don't short this coin is kind of the common denominator there, but when we look from a liquidation standpoint, this is also reiterating and reaffirming no reason to take a short position because there's a tremendous amount of liquidation on the upside. Now, I'm willing to bet that we're starting to see a shift in momentum where the liquidation delta has shifted from bullish to bearish, at least in a small way, based on that being such a heavy concentration of liquidation to the upside. Because if we count this up, each one of these bars is like a quarter of $1 billion rather. So we got 1 billion here, roughly 1 billion there, another one. So there's probably somewhere, again, this is a ballpark figure, 4 to 6 billion in liquidation between 395 and 415. So just know market makers are very, very good about destroying people's leveraged positions. So be in mind, if you are in a short, I recommend adjusting your stop loss lower as you continue into profit, so you don't walk away with paying more for the trade. And if you are in a high leverage trade and you hold them for a long time, folks, please understand this. There's a thing referred to as slippage and or basically trading fees. You're paying an astronomical amount of fees the longer you hold a position open for. So please be careful being one of those 100x losers. No offense, you can find wins, don't get me wrong, but you're going to lose more often than not. And again, if you're posting this on social media as to how great you are, you may want to try to reanalyze that, because again, when it comes to trading, it shouldn't be outward, it should be inward, and you're growing your portfolio, not others, right? Well, that's a different story for me, but you get the idea. Anyways, so 60 million in liquidation delta at its highest point. We're kind of tapering off here, so this does speak to the fact that we're not like over leveraged in either direction, which is good. This is a very good sign. So this creates stability, and this allows for the price action to continue, likely in the upward direction, because the overall trend is still up, right? So overall, we're looking pretty solid there. We see open interest here too. We have the largest amount of positions open at about 338. And secondary to that, some late longs. I don't know why people do this, but 388 is that next level, okay? Again, I get it. There's a lot of FOMO in, but until the price breaks free from its resistance range, you generally don't want to trade into that. Now, I'm going to probably sound contradictory here today when I talk about this, because there's probably going to be a lot of confirming factors letting us know that maybe a long position might be viable in this range. But once more, when you first test an all-time high, you don't just keep pouring money into a coin. That's not the responsible thing to do. While you've probably found some benefit and some luck on this coin doing that, and that's generally contradictory to what you're supposed to do, this coin does have a substantial amount of volume. And if we take a look here, let's just quickly analyze this here. The volume is starting to taper off and come down a little. Okay, so this isn't terrible. This is including a weekend, by the way, and that's pretty phenomenal volume for a weekend, which is exactly why we're going range bound and sideways here. But the truth here is that amount coming down, essentially the amount of volume flowing out of the coin, can lead to the price pulling back. Either way, that's not a bad thing. I don't see that being terrible. We still got a tremendous amount of good momentum. Even though stochastic is kind of swinging down, I think it's still premature to presume the price will pull back here. Let me go ahead and pull up the 4-hour time frame, because again, the daily time frame is going to be very off for almost every single coin that you see, because the daily time frame reflects the monumental run that most coins have seen lately. All right, so it's going to be a lagging indicator, kind of just telling us, hey, we're good to go, even though we may not be. All right, so look in the 4-hour time frame. That's the best time to identify that. If we look here, we can see we're over 50 on the RSI, which is generally a favorable sign. While we're getting closer to 50, we haven't broken below it, so we're still looking good. All right. You, in most cases, are going to find more success taking along on this side of the tracks versus on the downside, if you will. Okay. So again, that's kind of how that looks. Let me go ahead and close the door real quick. Sorry. We do have a guard dog. Apparently, a guard dog related issue there. Sorry. He has a tendency of being very. It's garbage truck day. We'll just put it that way. He's kind of on high alert. Anyways, you have a dog, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Let's take a look here, though. We can see stochastic is trying to swing up here in the 4-hour time frame. That's generally a favorable sign. MACD is still diverging, though, letting us know we got some momentum to the downside. Okay, so the general consensus here is that these are not bearish signs, but they're not like fully bullish either. And you're going to find that on the 4-hour time frame when the price goes range bound, specifically on weekends. So this is more like a false positive. I don't really choose to look into that or go too deep on that. What I do like to look at, of course, is maintaining above the 20 and or the 50-day SMA. These are important here, okay? So again, if that is the case, we're looking pretty good here if we stay above them. If we drop below, it's a different story altogether, but we're still honoring our ascending trend here overall. Okay, so I'll clean up our charts with our playout chart here. I'll post that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here soon. But on the hourly time frame, we want to look here and kind of see where we're at with the cloud and confirm that we're still above the cloud, but it's still not like a phenomenal situation here. And what I mean by this isn't going to show us that we are going to break up or down, because we're kind of like in this little mix right there, this little muddled situation. It's similar to Bollinger Bands if you use those. I have in the past. I don't use them on my videos, but generally speaking, when the price compresses like this, you get a breakout either up or down in most cases. Now, the logical conclusion would be for the price to break up based on the simple fact that the momentum is good, the overall situation is very bullish, Bitcoin's still looking like it wants to break to the upside and has a substantial amount of volume in the 90 to 91.5K range. So all that combined together tells us here that SUI is more likely to break up than down. And generally speaking, when you see this kind of pattern here too, the likelihood, make it a little easier to see, the likelihood of breaking to the upside is quite high. Again, you continue to retest this resistance level after breaking through a previous resistance turn support. That's generally a good sign. Now, granted, we do have a little bit of a gap here, so if the price does pull back, I wouldn't be super concerned with it. I feel as if we do come into the low 350 range, we'll probably see a pivot or a bounce from there. A, because we have liquidation there that would be swept, but B, mainly because the local high, which is a new low, it would work as a support level. So it'd be one of these here, okay? So I'll clean up our chart. I'll post playout chart here shortly on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord so you can see my thoughts here, but the overall sentiment is still very, very good here. Okay, so what you do in situations like this when there's indecision is you go with the odds, right? The odds right now of SUI going higher is much greater than it going down lower, plus the simple fact that if it were to even pull back, which is still possible, by the way, it's so strong and has such good volume that the price instantly recovers as soon as it comes down. So the trick, I think, to SUI is using lower leverage and higher position size, because the simple fact that you're going to avoid liquidation by doing so, and you're going to have much better success, more consistency. Future reference as well, if the price does break down below 350, we have a solid amount of support with this previous point of control here between 320 and 340. Is a massive amount of support there. Okay, so just know, actually, it would be a good thing if the price pulled back to that range, so we can average in and get into another long. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at there. So great stuff overall. I like where SUI is at here. So that's the situation here as I see it. I hope that makes sense and I described that correctly. Do me a favor too, make sure you hit the like button, of course, if you haven't already. Do yourself a favor, join us over at Bitunix. Phenomenal exchange, folks. No KYC or VPN required. 60K prize pool if you join up with them here this month, spread amongst the top 20 traders. And it's actually pretty easy to qualify too. The volume ranking, I mean, we've got some pretty high volume traders, don't get me wrong, but the top 20 is pretty easy to reach if you're just trading normally. Okay, so again, check that out. Link down below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you do want to become part of our community, cryptocash.tech is the site as well. Look forward to work with you, and thanks again to just being an awesome part of my life. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.